In this video we will talk about what are events and different ways of handling events in React. In React, events are actions or occurrences that happen in the browser, which the application can respond to. These can include user interactions like clicks, key presses, mouse movements, and more. Handling events in React is similar to handling events in the DOM but follows a few conventions. Let's see what is difference between native and synthetic events. Native events are the standard browser events that occur in the DOM, such as clicks, key presses, and mouse movements. These events can behave differently across various browsers, leading to inconsistencies in how they are handled. To address this, React introduces synthetic events, which are a cross-browser wrapper around native events. Synthetic events provide a consistent interface and behavior across all browsers, ensuring that developers can handle events uniformly. Event binding. When you use class components, you need to bind the event handler to the class instance to access this class object. In functional components, you use hooks, and there's no need for binding. Event handling. You can handle events in React by passing an event handler function to the corresponding event prop, such as onClick, onChange, etc. Let's see what are different ways of handling events using coding examples. The first method of creating event handler we will learn is Inline Event Handlers. You can define the event handler directly in the JSX. The second method of creating event handler is class method event handlers. In class components, you define the event handler as a method and bind it to the instance in the constructor. Another way of handling event is arrow functions in class components. You can define the event handler as an arrow function to automatically bind it. Another way of handling event is using functional components with hooks. With functional components, you typically define event handlers as regular functions. Let's see how can we pass parameters to event handlers. This code snippet is a simple example of a React functional component called app. Inside this component, there's a function named handleClick, which takes a parameter called message. When this function is called, it displays an alert box showing whatever message is passed to it. The component returns a button element with an onClick event handler. This handler is set as an inline arrow function that calls handleClick, passing the string button clicked as the argument. So, when a user clicks the button, the event handler triggers, calling handleClick, which in turn shows an alert with the message button clicked. This illustrates how to create interactive elements in a React application, where user actions lead to specific responses, making the interface more dynamic and engaging. Let's talk about one more concept related to event handling called event delegation. You can attach an event handler to a parent component and manage events for its child elements. In this React code snippet, we define a functional component named app. Inside this component, there's a function called handleClick, which takes an event parameter. This function displays an alert box that includes the text of the button that was clicked, using event target inner text to access the button's label. The component returns a div element that has the onClick event handler set to handleClick. Inside this div, there are two buttons labeled, button 1 and button 2. When the user clicks on either button, the click event bubbles up to the div, triggering the handleClick function. This results in an alert showing button clicked, button 1, or button clicked, button 2, depending on which button was clicked. This code demonstrates how to handle events at a parent element level in React and illustrates how to use the event object to determine which child element was interacted with, making the interface more versatile and responsive. In React, handling events is straightforward and follows a consistent pattern. You can use inline handlers, class methods, or functional approaches, with the choice depending on whether you are using class or functional components. Understanding these methods allows you to create responsive and interactive user interfaces in your React applications. थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग। आपको वीडियो पसंद आए या नहीं, अपना फीडबैक जरूर देना एंड प्लीज सब्सक्राइब।